Okay. Kia ora, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today. We're excited to have Ash Puriri with us from Waikato Tourism in New Zealand. We're grateful for his time. Just a reminder for those of you that aren't aware of what's going on. We do have the Asia Pacific Career Conference coming up March 6th through the 9th here at BYU-Hawaii, and we've invited a number of different employers from around the world to come and spend time with you here at the school. We're grateful for Ash and for his time that he's taken today, or Dr. Puriri, to come and speak to us a little bit more about his organization and share what opportunities and what projects and things that they're working on. So I'll go ahead and turn the time over to him and let him explain a little bit more about himself and who he's working with. So, kia ora, Ash.
Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora. Kene ngā mihi tēnei ki a koutou katoa i whakarongo mai ana te reo Māori e paho atu nei i a koutou ki te kaupapa whakahirahira mo te mahi turuhi Māori me ngā mahi katoa ki Aotearoa nei i roto o tō mātou pukenga. Nei, nā reira e mihi kauana ki a koutou katoa me ngā whānui koutou ngā ākonga mo te BYU-Hawaii koutou e whakahaere te o ki te kaupapa ngā mihi. Tēnā koutou. So kia ora everybody, my name is Dr. Ash Puriri. I completed my doctorate in Waikato University, and my specialty is in Indigenous entrepreneurial development around tourism, and I extended this after 25 years as the headliner of the cruise industry, 25 years on 160 branded ships around the world at every country that I've ported into and had the opportunity as a headliner to perform in. What expanded from that 25 years of service in the industry with high quality performances then led on to a demand of providing cultural experiences for the passengers whilst they're on board the ship and when they arrive to the ports of origin. Our company evolved from Te Puawai Trust, which basically means in Māori to evolve and to blossom, and it certainly has done that. We have now expanded from initially providing 3 cruise liners to being the largest provider of the cruise industry in Oceania for cultural authentic experiences. Now, Waikato Tourism now employs over 225 performers and workers in the cruise industry. Last year, those 225 employees were able to cruise away on these large, massive cruise ships. And as passengers were coming into New Zealand, they had the opportunity to be able to share our culture, our language, and our arts and crafts with the people on board the ship. That way, the passengers, when they arrived here to our country, New Zealand, for example, or albeit Fiji or Tahiti, they had an opportunity of a taste of the cultures. This has now led on to a number of other products that have appendaged itself from what Waikato Tourism now provides. And we provide specialized lectures from doctors, experts, specialists, kaumatua, cultural experts that are knowledgeable in the space in which they deliver. Now, Waikato Tourism, in addition to these cultural experts, also provides opportunity for students and ex-students to perform on these cruise ships, both internationally as well as domestically. So in the ship, we have a pod of 5, typically, that will come across, say, from the islands of Fiji or wherever the ship is originating from. And as it comes here to New Zealand, our performers will perform haka, teach the haka, teach how to make a poi, teach a poi song, how to throw the poi and wield it, weaponry, and then they will put on a show at the end with their participants that have attended. The number of participants on a ship typically can range from 2,500 to 3,500 passengers per time. And at each of these performances, they are always overwhelmed with large numbers of attendees, of passengers who are out to learn the haka, or out to learn how to make these implements of our culture. One of the beautiful things is that we also provide a unique window of opportunity for merchandising. So we merchandise authentic Maori souvenirs, and all of that revenue we then generate back to our artists. We have artists like Nikki Takira who provide the opportunity of her arts to be exposed to these international marketplaces. So it's a hive and a buzz of industry, both on the sea, and as each ship ports into either Auckland or into the port of Tauranga, which are two of the major destinations in New Zealand, the opportunity for us is that we put on a team of no less than 10 performers to perform kapahaka-like entertainment performances with a story and a theme line for the tourists to enjoy. These theatres are absolutely packed. And so that's just a brief overview of where Waikato tourism has expanded from starting off with just a few ships, and now we provide to over 58 ships this current season. That, when you work out the numbers, exposes us to over 180,000 people at every season. And it's expanding. This industry has expanded by 600% over the past 10 years. And over the past 20 years, during the recession, it became the fastest growing business in the world in terms of tourism and hotelier development. We have now evolved on from doing cruise ships to also looking at theatre performances, so performances inside resorts and hotels. We are currently negotiating with Novotel to be able to put in there a 45-minute cultural show with a hangi and culinary experience of New Zealand Aotearoa delicacies of the Māori. And in these hotels, our people and we will manage that entire presentation and evening. So in addition to that, there are special events. And these are some of the core products that we as Waikato Tourism would like to offer those students that are looking at coming back to New Zealand, students returning back to Fiji, students returning to different parts of the islands, back to your homes of origin, that still want to participate in the learnings and education that you have gained at BYU-Hawaii. Having visited BYU-Hawaii many, many times and been a guest lecturer there, I've seen the large number of growth happening both in the tourism and in the management area. When I worked for the Waikato University as advisor to the Dean of Management, one of the key developments that I had was to open up the portal for interns to work on the cruise ships with 8-month contracts on full salary. These interns learned to apply both back office management support and being able to provide both within the sectors of the cruise ship of hotel management, accommodation, and F&B. That's food and beverage. And these are huge departments. And then, of course, entertainment. Huge departments on the cruise ship. So there are a lot of opportunities that Waikato Tourism can start to leverage you in on. As you can see on the presentation here today, here are some of the photos of some of our groups. And of course, you can see some of these actually have been past students or students that have gone to BYU that have now worked for us for the past season. And we are now looking at rebirthing into the 2019-2020 and expanding our services across the 7 seas. Here is a small presentation of Te Puawai and what we present.
I don't think I can hear the sound on that, Ash, but
so this is on a cruise ship.
wow. So I would think our BYU students that are working at PCC would do fantastic at this.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So in this venue here, how many people would that seat?
So sitting inside that theatre would be, is that what you're asking, Ken?
Yeah, in that theater.
So sitting in that theatre are 1,200 passengers on that particular ship. So that's a massive seating in terms of intimacy with those particular passengers. Over the course of, say, a crossing from Australia to New Zealand, typically those workshops would have hundreds and hundreds of people turning up, and you can see them there in that slide there. Actually, you can see some of them with walkers and walking sticks. Even the lame and the cripple will come to these workshops. They're really exciting, learning how to make a poi and so forth. What do we do with cultural enrichment? These would be some of the areas that you're learning already as students in BYU, which are aligned to some of our cultural enrichment areas. Language workshops, history, knowing the history of New Zealand, of key points as the ship navigates from Auckland to Tauranga, heading south. It may even have started up in the far north, up in Paihia and Whangarei. And so knowing all the history as it maneuvers itself southward towards Gisborne, the Aitanga Mahaki, which is Gisborne, down to Napier. Napier has become a new growing port, which takes about 30% of the ships, coming all the way down to Wellington, Port Neke, the capital, and then eventually now to Picton, and makes its way down to a new port, which will be opening again. It's not new, it's an old port, but due to the earthquake, it is now reopening, and then that is the port in Christchurch, and then down to Dunedin and Invercargill, and then back to the loop to Sydney or Melbourne or wherever the origin of the ship came from. So understanding the history of our islands, and if it is Fiji that we're going to, we want you to know the history of Denara. We want you to know the histories of these old place names, Dravuni Island and so forth. If you're from Vanuatu, it's understanding the history behind all the islands of Vanuatu. If you're from Noumea and New Caledonia and so forth, is being able to bring in your history of your islands to the people on the cruise ships. So we're looking for students that have gained this knowledge as an expert and qualified, act professionally, and know how to present these histories to people that are absolutely interested. Today's tourists have changed. They're no longer, let's take a photo and move on. These people want to engage in the language, understand our societies, understand how we work and survive as a people. How have we been able to sustain our culture and languages with all of the colonization that has happened around us? Cultural pastime, games, stories, past workshops, the culinary experience, showing people how to make a fried bread and eat it in front of them is one of my favorites. And if you're from Tonga, it's learning about how to make the delicacy of Tonga, Fiji, and Samoa. We have huge numbers of ships going to both Apia as well up to Pango Pango. So there are opportunities for you, no matter where you are, an opportunity for you to engage in as a potential employee of Waikato tourism. Here are some of the levels of satisfaction feedback that our different passengers have experienced. Let's have a look at this one.
Yeah, I can't hear the sound on it, Ash.
Okay, so she's basically telling us how good the experience was for her.
Where was she from?
So she's from the mainland.
I was going to ask too, typically if with that that tour that
Yeah.
you're doing.
Uh-huh.
How long are the tour? Excuse me. How long are the tours?
The tours here in New Zealand is a land tour.
Uh-huh.
A ship is in town, it would get in, it's typically here for 12 hours is the window at maximum. So a tour can take up to 3 to 4 hours, as you know. So these passengers are trying to squeeze in as much as they can when they do a tour. There's opportunities, and we were just talking with my colleague, my worker here today, Brother Smith, and we're talking about now getting private tours happening because the groups are no longer wanting to sit on a huge big bus with the same people they've cruised with. They actually want to break into smaller pods. So there is
experiences.
Yeah, into individual pods. Yeah, so smaller groups of families that are traveling, or smaller groups of clubs that are traveling. These people no longer want to stick with another 2,500 people going the same way. They all want to go in their different merry way, and they actually want to do more than one thing. Instead of just going to a Maori village, they might want to go to the hot pools, they might want to go to the Maori village, to the kiwi fruit farms and so forth. So it's about being so flexible and agile to be able to meet the demands of our tourists here coming to New Zealand from the cruise ship industry. We don't just service the cruise industry, but the cruise industry is a core part of our product delivery for Waikato tourism.
Nice.
So here's a picture of the scope in which we cover in terms of our international market. We cover all of these countries that you see inside the triangle and outside the triangle. Why I say outside is Niue actually has, Niue has actually become one of the new spots for cruise ship destinations, and it is growing. So we're looking for workers that have knowledge of their culture, language, and performing arts from all of these areas, including Micronesia as well. Typically, the triangle would be Hawaii, Samoa, Fiji, down to New Zealand, Tonga, and Niue, and then into New Zealand. That's typically the triangle. But you can see on our map that our market goes wherever the cruise ships go. So Papua New Guinea receives over 180 ships a year. Niue receives over 320 ships a year. It is a booming destination. So we need speakers of French and French Polynesia, Kanak. We are looking for these key people to work here for Waikato tourism. And of course, Tahiti and Hawaii. So the ships typically will come all the way down from Alaska or through the through the canal, and then from the canal up the Panama Canal, they will traverse their way down from Hawaii and begin their travels to New Zealand and Australia, where they will be for the next 6 to 7 months. Typically, the winter periods of the USA are our summer periods and warmer periods in this part of the world. So it's a huge demand. In fact, the cruise ships now are extending their seasons to be 12 months of the year as of 2020. So there is a new dime turning in terms of opportunities and growth in this sector of tourism. This is some of our staff, and as you can see there, this was only shot last year.
Who's that handsome guy on the left?
Yeah, he's that guy there, Mr. Cowan. And so being one of our performers that has experienced this firsthand. So if you see Chasa, pull him aside and ask him how was his experience working on the cruise industry. He's there. We also had Jada Tahira, who's just returned home looking for more work on our ships, and we'll be lining her up straight away. But Jada was also on these very, very ships of Holland America that we started on years ago. We're a family business. We're a whānau business. I lead it, and right beside it is my wife, my beautiful wife. We're both educated. She completed her MBA at Waikato University as well. And we work together in developing, designing, and operating our business. Our standards are absolutely high. We have a zero tolerance of alcohol and smoking. So pretty much knocks out those that can't handle it. And you know, when we come on the ships or work with passengers from the ships as ambassadors, we are ambassadors of good, healthy living and good standards of living. And so those that graduate from BYU that are members, you have got a very high potential of us engaging in you when you make your inquiry here to us. ACE stands for Authentic Cultural Experts, and we are ACE for the whole of Oceania. So that's some of our stuff there. There he is again, Mr. Chesacowan up there on the top left. And there they are performing the cultural shows on the bottom here. So we have some new products that are booming. Like I said, on the cruise ships, we're looking for additional guest lecturers as guides to the ship, and also for cultural greetings at the gangways for photographic purposes, etc. And the authentic cultural port shows, which are a 45-minute performance. So that's just an overview, whānau and students of BYU-Hawaii. Tēnā koutou, nau mai hara mai ki Waikato Tourism, and we look forward to meeting you all when I come through to this wonderful conference for the APCC conference in Laie. Make a beeline and look for me. I'm only there for 3 days. The other 2 days I'll be surfing. Kia ora.
Thank you, Ash. Appreciate that. I was gonna see, could you take that the image down? I think the whole time it might have been on the PowerPoint. I wanted people to get a shot of your handsome face sitting there. I don't know if you can pull that, maybe hit the share button, or I think it's up at the top, just so they get a.
Alrighty, so how's that?
Oh,
all right, kia ora whānau. So to all those BYU students, I look forward to, so look for this face when I come through to BYU-Hawaii, arriving in on the 6th, and we're there for the conference, for the duration of the conference. Feel free to come and ask any questions. Don't be shy. We are not just looking for Polynesians, but we are looking for the authentic experience. So eventually, our goal to become the authentic experts of the world. So when we come to China, we are going to be looking for those that know the history of Beijing, the dynasties of China. When we come to Vietnam, we want to be able to be providing it for Vietnam. And I've had the opportunity of traveling all these parts, Japan and so forth. So we want to be able to become experts in all these fields. So we are looking, the only way we can do that is to find key people and students like you, that when you return home, you've got an opportunity to represent your country and your indigenous culture. Awesome.
Thank you, Ash. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, as you said, people that are tuning in, you see him around the campus, please take your time to come and talk to him. The career fair that's on Thursday would be a great opportunity to do that. There are going to be times between each of the activities that we have to shout out to him and come over and say hi. We definitely would like to get you exposed to a lot of the employers that are coming, especially the students from New Zealand. We have about 6 or 7 companies right now. Hopefully we can get a few more to attend the conference. So we do appreciate the time that they are spending to come and talk with each of you March 6th through the 9th at the Asia Pacific Career Conference. Ash, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions, but I do want to say a big thank you, Kenny, for organizing this, and your wonderful staff for communicating, Diane and the team. Kia ora mai koutou, nau mai hara mai ki Waikato Tourism. Kia ora.
Thank you. We'll see you. Okay.